Look, I'm sorry this video is so late, but I don't actually want to review this episode. I don't. I thought I did, but I was wrong. I was horribly wrong. I made a huge mistake. Now, I told you guys I would review it, and even though I really don't want to do it, I'm not going to go back on that. But for the love of all that is good in this world, I am going to stall first. So, let's talk about something that's a bit more pleasant to discuss than this show. 1 Million Moms.
1 Million Moms is an online organization which lobbies for what they see as appropriate content in media. They are a subsidiary/project of the American Family Association, an evangelical Christian association infamous for its anti-LGBT rhetoric. That group was even designated an extremist group in 2010 by the Southern Poverty Law Center. With that information, you can probably guess that most of what 1 Million Moms lobbies about are whenever someone brings up a gay person or a joke about religion. 1 Million Moms is one of those organizations whose campaigns are essentially overblown hissy fits. They're one of those entities whose insults are essentially compliments, and if a show manages to be progressive enough to piss them off, it's generally a good thing. This is where Shezow comes in.
Shezow is a show with a cross-dressing main character, and in 2013, 1 Million Moms attacked the show for this fact. Now, what separates this from their other tantrums is that I think their negative opinions about this show are actually accurate opinions. Don't get me wrong, I don't hate the show for the same reason as them. I don't have any problems with the cross-dressing. Actually, what I have a problem with is, well, basically everything else. Buckle up, guys, we got a lot of crap to sift through.
God finds a ring, does different things. Now he's secretly Shezow. He'll save the world, dressed like a girl. Sister has the know-how.
I've never done this before, but the first thing I need to address is the theme song. This show's theme song is absolutely obnoxious. The vocalist can't sing very well, the lyrics are trying way too hard to rhyme, the tune is overly repetitive, and it's just not very well mixed. However, I've seen plenty of theme songs like that in the past. The reason why I'm talking about this one is that it's incredibly overplayed. There's an instrumental reprise of the theme before and after every commercial break. Shezow was produced as 30-minute blocks of 2 episodes and 3 commercial breaks. Counting the opening sequence, some version of this theme song is played 7 times per block, for an average of once every 4 to 5 minutes. Hear the song once and you'll cringe. Hear it at least once every 5 minutes for a half hour, and it will get stuck in your head until you want to be beaten with an iron rod. If the theme song is a frequent annoyance, then the visuals are a constant torment. The animation is very stiff and awkward, and it has the feel of low-quality internet flash. Everything feels like it's floating, and none of the impacts have any weight to them. On top of that, the art style just isn't very pleasing, and the character designs are just ugly. They look vaguely deformed, especially the eyes. The eyes are all uneven, like someone tried to copy Picasso without any sort of skill or effort. The basic concept of this show is that a boy named Guy, I see what you did there, finds his deceased aunt's power ring and thus inherits her superpowers. However, since the ring was meant to be worn by a girl, he becomes a cross-dressing superhero. The ring was supposed to go to his sister Kelly, whose main character trait is being prissy, but Guy took it because he's a bit of an arrogant jerk. Also, Guy's best friend Maz is Shezow's sidekick, and his main character trait is being an idiot.
Well, doesn't that sound like a great setup? No, it doesn't, but let's actually take a look at an episode of this show. No Girls Allowed.
The episode starts with Guy and Maz watching a TV show about a group of superheroes called Excelsior. There's a super handsome guy, a super fat guy, a guy with super gadgets, and a guy with super armpit hair. This hurts already. Guy immediately decides he wants to join the team and shows up to Excelsior's headquarters as Shezow.
No girls allowed.
The nerve! Ha! Oh, let me try.
And no sidekicks.
The nerve! All right, Excelsior! That's it! No more Mr. Nice Girl!
I did not edit that clip. I don't even know where to begin. There is just so much wrong with this.
First off, there's absolutely no sense of pacing. Guy goes from loving this teen to wanting to sue them in less than 30 seconds. There's no sense of subtlety. The voices are annoying, especially Shezow's voice, which is in this obnoxious falsetto. The background sounds aren't mixed well, so they're quite distracting, and these audio issues are in nearly every scene of every episode. And here's the most important thing. This scene is the beginning of the conflict, and it doesn't even make much sense. I mean, if Clint Eastwood here, yes, that's actually his name, is saying no girls allowed, Guy could easily just reveal how he's actually a boy. Is there a rule in this show against superheroes revealing their identities to each other? If not, it would be a lot easier and it would make a lot more sense than suing someone he seemed to idolize less than a minute ago. Also, why are these grown men acting like children afraid of cooties?
We're only a minute and a half into this episode, guys. A minute and a half, and I already want to break something.
And yes, Guy does decide to sue Excelsior, so the episode's main focus is them in court. About the only amusing thing about this is Guy's crappy lawyer, who's also a cat for some reason. He actually made me crack a smile once, and it's a real shame he's only on screen for less than 30 seconds. If the best part of a courtroom plot is a two-bit lawyer, then you just have to know the episode is dead in the water.
Ugh, aren't you gonna do something?
Huh? Did the check clear?
For the record, Kelly has the most unbearable voice out of everyone. She yells every line. Whoever directed these voice actors should be ashamed. Basically, every joke fails. It's either a terrible pun or the episode pointing out how stupid a character is. As for the actual court case, Guy's argument is that he should be let in because he has cool powers. Wow, this court case has about as much depth as the arguments I had with my sister when I was 5. Also, since when has Shezow had specific powers? They basically change in each episode depending on what's convenient, which is odd considering this show tried to have some sort of continuity. I'm getting ahead of myself. Excelsior's argument is that they shouldn't have to let Shezow in because his powers are too girly. Now, the stupidest thing here is not the fact that they use this argument in a court of law. No, the stupidest thing is that Excelsior's argument almost ends up working. I'm not even kidding. They even have the courtroom audience gasp dramatically. Just stop.
I'm sorry, I need a break from this episode. Let's go back to 1 Million Moms for a bit.
When 1 Million Moms goes after some piece of media, there's generally jeering from various LGBT rights and progressive groups. Shezow was no exception. However, the response here wasn't just to criticize 1 Million Moms. There were also a lot of people who actually defended the show. These are actual progressive websites which spoke positively of the show's quote-unquote message. There were petitions made to keep the show going after the first season ended and it didn't look like the show would be renewed. One of these has over 1,000 supporters and it's not even written properly. People actually defended this show for being progressive. That's not just misguided, it's downright stupid. Look, I understand that issues of gender identity aren't portrayed enough in today's media. But the fact that the show has cross-dressing in it doesn't necessarily give it the right to exist, any more than it means it doesn't have the right to exist. What matters is not what subjects are portrayed, but how they are portrayed.
Gender identity is never the focus of this show. Guy doesn't struggle with gender, he just switches from an extreme boyish stereotype to an extreme girlish stereotype. The closest the show ever gets to addressing gender issues is the episode I'm reviewing right now, and, well, we can already see how badly that's going.
At this point, the courtroom plot is thrown out as some supervillains randomly break into the court and hijack the episode. I think these guys were in a previous episode, but I don't really care. Here, they just come right the hell out of nowhere. Basically, this tells me that the main concept of this episode wasn't developed enough to fill up 11 minutes, and the writers knew this, yet still went ahead with it. This is just a sin. Now, does the entrance of the villains improve the episode? Well, what do you expect? The animation is too awful for the fight scenes to work, the voices of the villains are annoying, and they have about as little depth to their characters as everyone else in this excuse for entertainment. The leader of these supervillains, who is a monkey, double-crosses the rest of them. He gets one of the villains to trap everyone inside the court with a giant spit bubble, and then lifts up the entire courthouse with his helicopter drill so he can drop everyone into a volcano and be the only super being in the world. I'd be glad this episode gave me the chance to say something that weird, but it really wasn't worth it. After they all spend way too long trying to break out of the bubble while Kelly yells some more, Shezow eventually breaks through. The monkey guy drops the courthouse into the volcano, but Shezow saves it by flying, and then the monkey's helicopter is destroyed by the lava, leaving the monkey to presumably fall to a fiery death. You know, for kids. Now this would be all well and good, except for one thing.
Yes! I can fly! This is totally amazing!
Ding! Shezow can't fly.
That last clip was from the pilot episode of this show. Once again, this show appears to have attempted some sort of continuity between the episodes, and yet they're flatly contradicting the rules they've already laid out for themselves. I mean, barring that, how can you just switch up the main character's powers between each episode just Stupid, dumb, idiotic.
We never actually hear what the verdict was, by the way. Excelsior offers to let Shezow join, but he declines because this episode is pointless. We get a dumb epilogue, and then the evil is finally over.
I think what pisses me off most about this show is how it only seems to be remembered for having cross-dressing in it. People seem to think it was innovative or progressive. Look, Bugs Bunny did cross-dressing over a half a century before this show, and that was actually good. There's nothing innovative about the cross-dressing here. The show didn't teach kids about gender or represent LGBT people. No. The only thing innovative about Shezow is how innovatively bad it is.
Shezow's first season ended in late 2013. It remained in syndication on Hub Network until late 2014, when Hub became Discovery Family. Ever since then, it no longer airs in the United States, and thank goodness for that. This show is among one of the worst cartoons I've ever seen. It's so bad, I wasn't even able to watch the whole thing before I started writing this review. It took me 3 tries to watch the episode without skipping around. This production is just overall some of the worst I've ever seen. Cookie-cutter plots which aren't even done correctly, animation which would barely pass on Newgrounds, voice acting which makes me want to chloroform myself, terrible music, terrible characters, there's just absolutely nothing right about it.
No Girls Allowed gets 0 out of 4 stars for me. Don't show it to your kids, don't watch it yourself, don't show it to anyone. Just screw this show.